Round one, fight!
What's going on, BW Sports One World? This is your boy, the Lion, and this is Combat Zone. And I'm here with a special guest now, Mr. John Lee Chalbeck. What is going on, sir? How you doing?
What's up, Delian? I'm good. How are you doing? Hanging in there, getting excited for this big event.
Yes. You have a debut coming up, I believe, correct? February 5th?
Yes, a bare knuckle debut. So this will be pretty exciting. Something I've never done before.
There you go. John Chalbeck heading in to toe his foot on that line for some bare knuckle fighting championship action. I can't wait to see you, sir. Now, I got a question here starting off. I see you're Florida born, but now you reside in Michigan. Now, me being in Indianapolis, I like the warm weather, so I don't understand the concept of people coming from the warmth to the snow and stuff. So to kind of fill me in on that background of how that move happened.
Well, when I was young, about second grade, my parents split up, and my dad's family, where my grandpa was a captain in the Navy, and he retired to the Florida Keys, and that's where I grew up until my parents split up, and then my mom kind of came back to the snowy place of Walled Lake area, and then I've been kind of around this area.
Okay. So Brighton, I believe, is an outskirts of Detroit, right?
Right. Yeah. We're about 40 minutes from Detroit.
Okay. Kind of give us a little background of your fighting career, whether it be MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, everything. I do see that you were a boxing coach at Michigan, correct? University of Michigan?
Yes, I tried out for the team, and then they thought that I had too much experience, or that it's kind of hard to get matched up in fights in college if I wasn't going to go against one of the armed forces, because I had a lot of amateur fights compared to other guys on the team. So after the second day of sparring, they just offered me a coaching position, and I accepted, and I thought that would look really good on my resume, and yeah, and so that kind of gave me a little bit of extra, things to do while I was going to the University of Michigan. It kind of ignited my way back into boxing because I was really focused on being a lawyer at that time.
Okay, wow. That's so you went from one realm to the next, and then now you're back to where your heart is in the fighting and the boxing.
Exactly right. I took a little time off and I went to school and I went and got my degree, and then now I'm back to my original dream, to finish what I started.
Nice. I like that. Now, one of our partners here at BW Sports One is a huge Go Blue fan. Unfortunately, it's not me, but he's going to love and enjoy this moment of me, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, having a conversation with a Michigan Wolverine alum. So I just had to throw that in there. Kind of looking over and researching you a little bit, I seen one of your favorite quotes, and I need you to elaborate on the BW Sports One World for us. The juice is worth the squeeze. Can you elaborate a little bit on what that means to you?
It just means that whatever you're gonna go into, you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot if you want it bad enough, and you know, you have to really decide, how bad do you want it. And when it comes to fighting and putting myself out there in front of everyone and fighting for my family, I know if I go out like that, I definitely did doing what I love, and not everybody can choose their way, so that's what it means. It means every time I step in there, you can get killed. And that's why I have nothing but respect for fighters. And if you're willing to get in there in front of everyone and put your life on the line in front of people who will just criticize you, then I got nothing but respect for you. and that's what that means.
I like it. I like it. Well,
Especially when it applies to fighting. You can apply that to pretty much anything, but
mhm.
when it applies to fighting, I'll go out on my shield either way.
Gotcha. I like it, man. I like it. Now, to kind of segue into this, what you said, with the naysayers and the haters, a lot of people call them. So when people look at your boxing career, they look at, the record, and then they look at who you fought. How do you kind of push those haters aside, knowing that looking at your record, those haters are going to come out and say, oh, well, you've fought nothing but, debut fighters, or, oh, you fought somebody with, a 2-6, 2-7 record. What does that mean to you, and how do you go about directing your experience, your knowledge, and what you put in front of everybody in the cage or the ring to work against these haters?
Well, that's kind of an interesting question. I used to be really sensitive to haters, and my promoter Carlos, the guy that runs the Motor City Casino, he was just trying to tell me about, man, haters are good, man. You need haters, and at first I was really sensitive, but then one day I was watching two guys online argue over me, and I didn't know either one of them, and I realized something's kind of, happening that's out of my control. And I just needed to roll with it. I've, fought all the guys that, Carlos and I have, decided were the right guys at the right time. And I did everything I was supposed to do with them, so now we're on to the next opportunity, we keep moving up the ladder. I only focus on, my goals and what I'm supposed to do, not the criticisms of people who, most of them are too scared to even make the walk. So,
I've not on your level, but I have made that walk several times to both the boxing ring and the MMA cage. And like you said, most people don't even have the balls to make that walk. And once you actually do make that walk, and the first time, I mean, you're looking at it like, oh, damn, it's here. Kind of give me the insight and that feeling of how your first bout went, as far as you back in the backstage area getting ready and walking out that very first time.
as an amateur or a pro or
I mean, the very first time. So as an amateur, the very first time.
oh wow, the amateur very first time.
If you can remember that far away.
Yeah, I can. I think that was around 2001 or 2002 or something like that. But yeah, I remember being super nervous, and seeming like everybody was larger than life and way tougher than me, and then you get in there and you remember all the things that you've been doing, and they all come together, and ever since then, I treat every opponent like they're Mike Tyson, and that they could knock me out with one punch, and I keep my hands up and my chin down, and I do what I know, and methodically just go to work, so that's how I approach fighting, very logically and very relaxed.
So was there any difference in that first walk as an amateur to when you finally actually signed that contract, putting your professional that professional stamp on you? Was there any difference? I mean, obviously the nerves were probably there as always, but just not as much, and maybe a little bit more because you got the more of the limelight being a professional fighter.
I would say the most nervous I ever felt, and also the most relaxed. It's kind of weird. I did my first MMA fight the day after my dad died,
Hmm.
and I had never tried MMA before, and I was really like, wasn't sure if I should do it, but I knew that I would regret it if I didn't, and that he would want me to do it. So I went through with the fight anyways, even though a lot of people were trying to tell me that I wasn't in the right mindset. But I ended up doing a spinning back kick and knocking the guy out with a broken rib. And, it just like came out of nowhere. And I think it's because I was so relaxed in there. And when I had my first pro fight, I was even more relaxed. And, I just, tend to, kind of tune out the crowd and just focus on what I'm supposed to do in there. And that's just take care of the one guy that I'm going to be looking across from. And I seem to really have tunnel vision for that.
Gotcha. Well, I obviously send my condolences for your loss of your dad. That sucks for anybody. I'm fortunate enough to still have my parents both here with us, but I mean, that has to be drive in itself. I mean, you lose a parent, and especially if you're close to, and you go out there and do something that, like you said, he would want you to continue on with. I mean, what other forms of drive has that adversity that you've gone through in your life to get to where you're at now?
Well, yeah, that stay the course, that last words that he said to me, stay the course, fight relaxed, fight smart. I love you forever. I really just like, ever since that day, really just, took off with every opportunity that I can get out of this fight business, and really use promoters, to my advantage, and not let them take advantage of me, so, in the fight game, these promoters can really swallow you up and spit you out. And I tend to be a little bit more educated with an approach with everything I do. And so, that's why I'm 4-0 in MMA and 9-0 in boxing. And the haters can say whatever they want, but I did what I was supposed to do with those guys that were lined up against me. And now there's a new opponent, and at the end of the fight, the people will say, what they're going to say, win or loss, it doesn't matter.
You keep doing what you do, brother. I love it.
I have four children, and everything I do is for them, my wife, and, I found a way to be able to do what I love to do, which is spend all my time in the gym, training all day, and still pay all my bills. And I think a lot of fighters, wish that they could have that opportunity to be able to train all day and get paid to train, and have sponsors that take care of you. So I got a lot of haters just from accomplishing those feats. So I really relish in it now. Before, it used to hurt my feelings. I'm like, this guy doesn't even know me. Why doesn't he like me? But now I'm like, I like it.
There you go. All right. So we were talking about the adversity that you've gone through to get to where you're at. You fight and you do whatever you do right now for your kids, your wife, and your family. Let's kind of play on that. Where do you have any kids that are interested, for one, in doing what dad's doing? And B, would you and your wife allow it to happen?
My daughters are interested here and there. All my kids know how to punch the right way, and they have good technique. My son doesn't really like working out hard. He doesn't want to put in the conditioning. Sometimes I make him go to boxing class, maybe once a week or something, to just get him moving. My girls are into dance and cheerleading, and they show signs of wanting to be into fighting, but I don't push anybody to be into anything. I let them, find their own way and what interests them, and I just support them in whatever they want to do.
And I'm sure, being a cheerleader, or a couple of them, they are daddy's biggest cheer fans right there, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, it's funny. My girls will always give me their finishing move that they want me to finish the guy with, whether it's MMA or boxing, and I'd always ask them, what's it going to be this time, and they'll tell me.
And you better
I
listen
try
to
to
them,
make
Dad.
I try to make it happen, but sometimes, the other guy is stubborn.
Yeah, well, the good old saying, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, and then that kind of all goes out the window, and you got to do what you got to do to survive in there.
Absolutely.
Now, again, we're talking about your debut at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and you have years of experience in boxing. What has the difference been in this fight camp compared to past ones where the gloves have been on, and now you're walking into a bare knuckle fight. What is the difference in training?
I would say, I've been focusing on, throwing a lot more sharp punches, when I'm conditioning and hitting the bag or anything, and not so much power shots, and just being quick and very technical and precise. Doing a lot of jumping rope and running, and making sure that all my conditioning is by far superior, since I have the time to be doing it. Um, and trying to protect my hands. I mean, I did one simulated round, a 10-minute round on the rubber water bag, and I feel like my hands are gonna fare pretty well through 10 minutes of my opponent's head. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to be flinging power shots or try to get into a firefight. I'm going to show my experience and show my technical skills.
I like it. I like it. Now, going from boxing to MMA was a little struggle for myself. Now I can only imagine, when you have those big boxing gloves on and you're able to use those as a blocking mechanism, and now all you have is your bare hands, your knuckles to do that. So like you said, those strikes have got to be more accurate, I would think, especially going through the hands to get to that nose and that face area. But you're a professional, man. You know how to do this. You're getting ready to get it done in February. 3 weeks, February 5th. I can't wait, man.
Yeah, and I know my opponent, Greg Bono out of Massachusetts, and I have looked at the video of his boxing fight, and I don't underestimate him at all. He looks like a very scrappy guy, and he's going to come to fight, and he's going to try to accomplish his dreams, and his dreams get in the way of my dreams, and so we're going to clash in the middle of there, and may the best man win.
That's right. Again, I can't wait to watch you February 5th. Now, really quick before we go, I'm going to do a thing that I like to do with all the fighters that I interview. It's called Rapid Knockout. It's 5 questions that have absolutely nothing to do with the fight world. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Favorite food?
Lobster.
I love it. I like some lobster, especially if it's fresh.
Fresh.
Yes. Favorite music or song?
I would say like most the rock and roll genre.
Okay. Any specific artist or
No, I
group?
couldn't. No, I couldn't. I pretty much like everything, and I can't really gravitate to any one thing for too long. So
Gotcha.
I tend to listen to new things and find new tastes, and But I would say I generally avoid something. I generally listen to something with a guitar and drums and a bass guitar.
There you go. I like that too. Favorite sport other than, boxing, MMA, bare knuckle?
I would say it used to be football because I played football back in high school. But man, to play, I don't know, tennis.
A lot easier on the body than football and fighting, isn't it?
Who? Yeah, there pretty much hasn't been anything else but UFC and boxing and now bare knuckle for me for many years. It's been that.
Gotcha. Who is the biggest role model of yours growing up? Whether that be, personal
Um,
or the sports world or however you want to look at it.
It was definitely my grandfather and my father. My grandpa flew 55 missions in Korea and 60 missions in Vietnam, and he was the head test pilot for the entire Navy at one point. And
Wow.
he always told me that whatever you're gonna do with your life, you need to focus on it, and you need to have tunnel vision. And I really listened to those echoing words in my mind, and it was funny. One day he said to me, John, it's okay that you're scared to fly. He's like, I tried boxing once, and he just kind of sniffed his nose, like, and then he walked away, and that was it. That's like, he had a very subtle way of letting you know things. You know what I mean? Like, so he may have been a pilot that dropped a lot of bombs and went to war and life and death situations, but he got punched in the nose one time, and that was all it was for him. So to each their own. all of us humans have our unique qualities, and mine seems to be not mine when I get punched in the head.
There you go. Last question. What's your favorite hobby outside of, your sport?
My favorite hobby outside of my sport, I would say continuously is just a part of my life is running. I do so much running, and I never really considered it part of my training. It's just part of my lifestyle. That's where I have most of my visions going on and my daydreaming and thinking about what I'm going to accomplish. So, I just tie running to, my most prevalent hobby for sure.
Well, sir, you are a much better person than I am when it comes to running because I don't like treadmills. Now, I'll get on an elliptical all day long, but as far as treadmill and the actual running part, I think my life is done with all that because a lot of football growing up, tons of running. I just never liked it. I still don't. But hey, like you said, to each their own, and it helps you obviously in your goals that you got set for 2021 and the future because running is definitely part of that conditioning.
Right, and I try to be outside as much as possible when I'm doing it, but the cold really gets to me still. I'll always be a Florida Keys guy, you know what I mean? And so I never really acclimate to the cold. I just deal with it. And right now I have a treadmill next to my bed, and that's where I run, so no excuses. I don't have to think about, oh, I wish I ran, I just do it and get it done, and then I can sleep at night, and my opponent, I hope he's working as hard as I am, so that fight is just what everybody wants to see. Otherwise it's not going to last that long.
I cannot wait to see. And if I do blink, I hope it's not during the time you knock your opponent out, John. Really quick before we cut out, let's give your shout outs to your teammates, your sponsors, your gyms, whatever you want to shout out to right now.
I'd like to give a shout out to obviously Dave Feldman for giving me this opportunity finally. He said I would be on the Paige Van Zandt card last year, and that those dates changed, and I always got a little bitter. But he's a man of his word. I am fighting on the Paige Van Zandt card on February 5th. I want to thank my wife and my kids for always supporting me and loving me, and putting up with me, whether I'm cutting weight, or eating something different, than all of them. I want to thank James Gray for keeping the gym open and allowing everyone to continue their martial arts way of life and let my business continue to flourish, and let all of our members and teammates all continue to chase their dreams. I want to thank Carlos Illness for all the opportunities at the Motor City Casino, and he'll be right there with me during all of this barbaric shit that we're about to do together. We're still in it together. We're still staying the course. I thank my sponsors, Broadstone Homes, for taking care of me, my new management team, Smith Brothers. I want to thank CRW Plasticos for always sponsoring me for so many years, Ravine Plaza, the undercard. I want to thank McDonald's law offices. I thank every single person that's bought a sign for me. I started a new business in 2021, which is these, wooden American signs like the one you have behind you.
Nice.
And, I built over 100 of them, and it's kind of crazy how that business really took off, so, I've been really, I've been really blessed, and I have a lot of support, and I have a lot of things to fight for, and I stay motivated and I stay disciplined. So I'm excited for this, man. I really am, and I'm excited to show everybody what I've been doing my entire life.
Well, I know again, John, I am excited to watch you in your debut at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, February 5th down in the Tampa, Florida area. Kind of a welcoming back home. It's not the Keys, but it's a lot closer than Detroit, Michigan is. So, John, thank you again for your time, allowing me to sit down with you and discuss a little bit of this, that, and the other here at Combat Zone. Can't wait to see you February 5th. And you always got a home to sit here and talk to me if you want to after the fights.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good one. We'll see him, John Lee Chalbeck, February 5th, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 16. That's right. He is looking to knock that opponent out. I can't wait to see it, and we'll see you guys back here at the Combat Zone.
Peace.